What if I told you that happiness isn't something you wait for? Something that just happens when life feels easier? What if happiness is a decision you make even when everything around you feels heavy and overwhelming? It's a hard truth to accept, but life is not designed to be comfortable all the time. Challenges come without warning, pain visits uninvited, and sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. Yet in the middle of all this struggle, there lies a choice that only you can make. You can decide to push yourself toward happiness, not because life is perfect, but precisely because it isn't. This choice is not about pretending everything is fine or masking your feelings with a forced smile. It's about recognizing that happiness doesn't depend on outside circumstances. It depends on your inner strength, your mindset, your willingness to find light in the darkest places. Science tells us that our brains are wired to adapt, to grow, to change how we experience the world. This means you have the power to reshape your thoughts and feelings, to train your mind to notice the good even when life is hard. It's not magic, it's a process, and it starts with one decision: to focus on what you can control, your own attitude. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped waiting for perfect moments and started creating happiness from where you are. Picture the freedom in knowing that no matter what happens outside, your peace and joy don't have to be stolen. This is not a fantasy. It's within reach, but it requires courage. It requires you to push yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Because happiness is not a place you arrive at, it is a path you walk, step by step, choice by choice. Why does this matter? Because when you learn to be happy despite hardship, you transform your entire experience of life. Pain doesn't disappear, but it loses its power to define you. Stress still comes, but your resilience grows stronger. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You become the person who controls their own happiness instead of letting circumstances control it for you. This changes everything, not just how you feel today, but how you live tomorrow and all the days after that. So stay with this idea: happiness is your right and your responsibility. It's not about waiting for life to be easy. It's about pushing yourself to find joy even when life is hard. The journey won't be perfect, it will challenge you. But the reward is a life lived fully, deeply, and on your own terms. This video will guide you through how to make that choice real, how to build happiness from the inside out, and how to keep moving forward no matter what. Keep listening. You owe it to yourself to discover the power of choosing happiness, even now. What does happiness really mean to you? Is it a fleeting smile, a moment of relief, or something deeper, something that fills your soul even when the world feels harsh? Most people chase happiness as if it's a prize waiting just out of reach, tied to achievements, possessions, or the approval of others. But real happiness goes beyond these surface-level satisfactions. It is not a temporary high or a reaction to good news. It is a quiet, steady flame that burns inside, a deep sense of peace and meaning that no external event can take away. When you understand this, you unlock a truth that changes everything. Happiness is not found outside of you, it is cultivated within. This kind of happiness is not about escaping pain or avoiding difficult emotions. It is about learning to live fully, with all your struggles and imperfections. It is about discovering the strength to say, "I am enough," even when life tries to convince you otherwise. Psychological research shows that lasting happiness is closely linked to living a meaningful life, one where your actions align with your values, where you connect deeply with others, and where you grow continuously. Gratitude becomes a powerful tool in this process because it rewires your brain to notice the good, even in small things. When you train your mind to focus on what is working rather than what is missing, your experience shifts. Joy expands. You become resilient, able to find light even in dark times. Think about how much time you spend chasing things that don't bring lasting happiness, approval, possessions, status. These may bring temporary satisfaction, but they also create endless cravings that leave you feeling empty. Real happiness is steady. It doesn't demand anything from outside. It grows from within you like a well-tended garden, rooted in purpose and self-acceptance. It thrives on connection, on knowing you belong, and on the daily choice to find meaning, no matter the circumstances. This is not easy, but it is possible. It is a skill you develop, a muscle you strengthen every day. When you embrace this deeper understanding of happiness, you stop relying on life's unpredictable conditions. You stop believing that happiness is a reward for having a perfect life. Instead, you realize it is a state you can create right now, even if the path is rocky. This awareness frees you from waiting and frustration. It gives you control. You begin to see hardship as a backdrop, not the main story. You begin to invest your energy in what you can shape, your thoughts, your attitudes, your daily choices. This shift is powerful because it moves you from victim to creator. It invites you to own your emotional experience and to push yourself toward joy regardless of the challenges. When you understand that happiness is a skill, a practice, and a decision, you open the door to transformation. You give yourself permission to thrive, not because life is easy, but because you refuse to let hardship steal your light. This knowledge is the foundation for everything that follows, the reason you will keep pushing, growing, and choosing happiness every day. Let this truth settle inside you. Lasting happiness is yours to build, starting right now. Now, think about the small actions you take each day, those tiny moments that feel insignificant but are actually the building blocks of your happiness. The power of happiness doesn't lie in grand gestures or sudden changes. It lives in the daily habits you choose to nurture. Science shows that our brains are shaped by repetition. What you focus on grows stronger. When you consistently practice small acts of gratitude, kindness, or mindfulness, you are literally rewiring your brain to respond differently to stress, pain, and disappointment. This is your happiness muscle, and like any muscle, it needs training, patience, and consistency. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight or wait for the perfect time. The moment you begin investing in small, positive habits, you start shifting your experience of the world. A few minutes of focusing on what you appreciate, your breath, your body, a kind word, slowly build resilience. This isn't about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It's about consciously choosing to look for what uplifts you amid the chaos. Each small choice creates new neural pathways, strengthening your ability to feel joy even when life pushes back. It is common to underestimate these small steps because the change they bring feels invisible at first. That is why pushing yourself is so important, because you may not feel the results immediately, but your brain is quietly adapting. This means that even when the weight of life is heavy, these tiny daily habits become your shield and your anchor. They hold you steady. You begin to notice moments of calm where before there was only overwhelm. You start to catch glimpses of peace in the storm. This growing inner stability fuels your courage to face what's hard and to keep moving forward. Every day, you have the chance to strengthen this happiness muscle by choosing actions that support your well-being. It could be as simple as breathing deeply before reacting, writing down one thing you're thankful for, or offering kindness to yourself when criticism arises. These small actions send a message to your brain: you are safe, you are worthy of peace. Your mind begins to expect moments of calm and joy, which helps lower stress hormones and increase feelings of contentment. This biological shift is real, measurable, and within your control. When you push yourself to build these habits, you are not ignoring reality. You are learning how to meet it with strength. You are training your mind to find the good without denying the pain. This is the foundation of lasting happiness, the steady flame that keeps burning even when darkness tries to surround you. The power of these small actions is that they are accessible, available right now, regardless of your situation. No matter how hard life feels, you can start building your happiness muscle today, one small step at a time. This is not easy. It requires determination, especially when nothing seems to change quickly. But it is the most powerful way to reclaim your emotional well-being. When you embrace this truth, you give yourself the tools to create happiness as a daily practice. This practice will grow stronger with time, pushing you toward a life where happiness is not a distant dream, but a lived reality, no matter what life throws your way. Pain and discomfort are inevitable parts of life, and learning to face them head-on is where true growth begins. Many avoid discomfort because it feels unsafe, unsettling, or overwhelming, but resistance to pain only gives it more power. When you push yourself to lean into the hard moments, you develop resilience, the ability to bounce back stronger and more capable. The human brain is remarkably adaptable, and exposure to challenges can actually increase your emotional strength. This means that pain, rather than breaking you, can become the raw material for transformation. It's important to understand that discomfort is not the enemy. It's a sign that you are stretching beyond your current limits, that you are entering new territory where growth happens. Psychological studies show that individuals who accept discomfort without fighting it experience less anxiety and build greater mental toughness. This doesn't mean you seek out pain for the sake of it, but rather that you stop running from what feels difficult. When you stop avoiding, the fear that holds you back loses its grip. You begin to see hardship not as a punishment, but as a pathway. This shift in perspective is essential to pushing yourself toward happiness during hard times. Life will never be free of struggle, but your relationship with struggle can change. You can train your mind to meet discomfort with curiosity instead of resistance, with courage instead of retreat. Every time you choose to stay present through difficulty, you strengthen your emotional muscles. You become less reactive, less controlled by fear and pain, and more centered in your own power. This is not about becoming numb or indifferent. It is about feeling deeply but not letting pain define your existence. It's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience, knowing that joy and sorrow can coexist. When you allow yourself to feel pain without judgment, you create space for healing and for happiness to grow alongside it. This acceptance quiets the inner critic that says you shouldn't feel this way, or that you must fix your emotions immediately. Instead, it invites compassion for yourself and the understanding that healing is a process. Choosing to face discomfort requires courage, but that courage fuels transformation. It changes your brain's response to stress, lowering the intensity of fear and building a sense of safety within. The more you practice this, the more your nervous system learns to regulate itself, helping you stay calm when chaos arises. This biological change underpins emotional resilience, allowing you to push forward even when life feels overwhelming. When you understand that resistance to pain only prolongs suffering, you open the door to freedom. You empower yourself to move through hardship rather than be stuck in it. This mindset is the foundation for building happiness in hard times. It transforms struggle from a barrier into a bridge that connects you to your inner strength, your growth, and your ability to choose joy despite everything. This is the power you hold. This is the path you can walk every day. When life is hard, the way you treat yourself matters more than you realize. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is the strongest form of kindness you can give yourself. Far too often, in moments of struggle, the harshest voice we hear is our own. We criticize, judge, and push ourselves further into pain. But research shows that self-compassion reduces anxiety, depression, and burnout. It acts as a healing balm, soothing your nervous system and creating the space you need to heal and grow. Choosing to be your own ally, especially when everything feels hard, is a radical act of courage. Self-compassion means recognizing your pain without blame. It's about talking to yourself as you would to a dear friend, softly, patiently, and with understanding. This doesn't mean excusing yourself from responsibility or ignoring the need to push forward. It means acknowledging that being human means struggling, making mistakes, and feeling pain. When you embrace this truth, you break free from the cycle of self-judgment that steals your happiness and drains your energy. This gentle inner dialogue rewires your brain, helping you respond to challenges with calmness rather than chaos. This kindness inward changes how you approach hardship. Instead of fighting against yourself, you build an inner foundation that holds steady in difficult times. You learn to comfort yourself when the world feels cold. When you practice self-compassion, your emotional resilience grows because you stop draining your energy in harsh self-criticism. This allows you to focus your strength on solutions, growth, and healing. The softer you become with yourself, the harder it is for pain to knock you down. Biologically, self-compassion lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, while increasing oxytocin, which promotes feelings of safety and connection. This chemical shift strengthens your nervous system's ability to regulate emotions. In other words, self-compassion physically changes your body's response to stress, making you calmer and more centered. This biological foundation is crucial when you push yourself to be happy during hard times. Without self-compassion, pushing becomes exhausting, draining, and unsustainable. Choosing to be kind to yourself also breaks the myth that happiness depends on perfection. You don't have to be flawless to deserve joy. You don't need to have everything figured out to feel peace. When you allow yourself compassion, you give yourself permission to be imperfect and still worthy. This shifts your mindset from punishment to acceptance, from frustration to patience. It opens the door to true happiness, because happiness grows best in a soil of self-love, not self-criticism. So, when life feels relentless, start by softening your inner voice. Speak to yourself with kindness and patience. Recognize your efforts, your pain, and your courage. This simple act is revolutionary because it rewires your brain, heals emotional wounds, and strengthens your will to keep pushing forward. Self-compassion is not a detour from happiness. It is the highway. The more you embrace it, the stronger your capacity for joy becomes, no matter how hard life gets. This is your foundation. This is your power. The people and environments you surround yourself with have a deeper impact on your happiness than you might realize. Your mind is a sponge, constantly absorbing the energy, attitudes, and emotions of those around you. Research shows that social connections are one of the strongest predictors of lasting happiness and well-being. When you choose to spend time with those who lift you up, who believe in your potential, and who support your growth, you create a powerful foundation for joy. Conversely, toxic relationships and negative environments drain your energy and make pushing yourself toward happiness feel nearly impossible. It's easy to underestimate how much your environment shapes your mindset. Every conversation, every interaction sends signals to your brain, messages that either encourage or discourage hope and positivity. When you surround yourself with uplifting influences, your brain begins to expect good things. This biological response reinforces feelings of safety and calm, reducing stress and increasing your capacity to handle life's difficulties. Your happiness muscle grows stronger not just from internal work, but from the people and spaces that hold you gently, that inspire you to be your best self. Choosing your environment is an act of courage and self-respect. It means setting boundaries and saying no to people or situations that steal your peace. It means being intentional about what you allow into your mental space, what you watch, read, and listen to. Every influence you accept either nourishes your growth or hinders it. When life feels hard, protecting your emotional energy becomes one of the most important ways to push yourself toward happiness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You must fill yourself with positivity, encouragement, and hope. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or avoiding challenges. It means building a support system that helps you stay grounded when storms arise. Even small changes, choosing a daily moment of silence, seeking out positive media, or reaching out to someone who understands, can shift your internal state dramatically. These choices reinforce that you are not alone in your journey and that happiness is not a solitary struggle. Connection heals and empowers. Your environment can also serve as a reminder of your vision and purpose. Surrounding yourself with symbols of your goals, people who share your values, and daily habits that align with your growth keeps your motivation alive. These external anchors remind you why pushing yourself toward happiness matters. They hold space for your transformation and encourage you when your own strength feels low. This external support creates an ecosystem where happiness can thrive naturally. When you invest in the quality of your relationships and surroundings, you are investing in your own well-being. This is a radical act of self-love and determination. It strengthens your resolve to keep going, to keep choosing happiness, even when life pushes back. The right environment becomes a launching pad, propelling you forward with momentum and hope. Protect your energy fiercely. Choose your influences wisely. This is one of the most powerful ways to fuel your happiness, resilience, and courage every single day. Happiness is not just a fleeting feeling, it is anchored in purpose. When life feels hard, having a clear sense of why you push forward creates a powerful compass that guides every step. Purpose is the deep reason that drives you, the meaning behind your struggle and your joy. Research shows that people with a strong sense of purpose experience greater resilience, better mental health, and more lasting happiness. Purpose turns obstacles into opportunities because it connects you to something bigger than momentary pain. It fuels your commitment to keep moving, even when the path is unclear. Without purpose, hardships can feel meaningless and unbearable. You can easily lose direction, feeling stuck in a cycle of suffering. But purpose ignites a fire inside you that refuses to be extinguished. It reminds you that your efforts are not wasted, that your growth matters, and that your life holds value no matter the challenges. This deep connection to meaning rewires your brain to focus on long-term fulfillment rather than short-term comfort. It trains your mind to see every struggle as part of a larger story, your story, a story worth fighting for. Purpose also brings clarity to your daily choices. When you know what truly matters, you start aligning your actions with your values. This alignment creates harmony between who you are and what you do. It builds integrity, self-respect, and a profound sense of satisfaction. Every small step toward your purpose becomes a source of happiness, because it confirms that you are living authentically, not drifting through life passively. This focus strengthens your emotional resilience because it provides a why that outweighs the how hard or how painful moments. The science of happiness shows that purpose engages brain areas linked to motivation and reward. When you connect to your purpose, your brain releases chemicals that boost energy and optimism. This natural high fuels your capacity to endure pain and discomfort without losing hope. Your body and mind become allies, working together toward a goal that inspires and empowers. Purpose transforms happiness from a random occurrence into an intentional journey, one you lead with courage and vision. Finding your purpose does not require grand achievements or world-changing goals. It can be as simple as committing to growth, love, or service. What matters is that your purpose feels deeply true to you, that it speaks to your soul and awakens your passion. When you embrace this, pushing yourself toward happiness becomes less about forcing joy and more about living with meaning. Purpose becomes the anchor in your storms and the light on your path. This connection to purpose is not a luxury, it is a necessity for lasting happiness. It gives you the strength to rise every time life knocks you down. It makes hardship meaningful and joy sustainable. When you hold on to your purpose, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You become the creator of your life's story. This shift ignites transformation. It pushes you to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep choosing happiness, no matter what. Purpose is your North Star. Follow it with courage, and happiness will follow you. Perfection is a myth that often traps us in cycles of frustration and disappointment. Waiting for perfect circumstances, perfect feelings, or a perfect version of yourself only delays happiness. The truth is, happiness lives in progress, not perfection. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory that deserves to be celebrated. When you shift your focus from flawless results to steady growth, you release the heavy burden of unrealistic expectations and open yourself to joy in the present moment. Psychological research shows that recognizing small wins boosts motivation and self-confidence. Celebrating progress rewires your brain to associate effort with reward, making you more likely to keep pushing through challenges. This positive feedback loop strengthens your happiness muscle and fuels resilience. It creates an emotional momentum that carries you forward when obstacles appear overwhelming. Instead of being paralyzed by what you haven't achieved, you become energized by what you have accomplished. Accepting imperfection also means embracing vulnerability. It requires courage to acknowledge that you are a work in progress, that you stumble and fall, but that each attempt moves you closer to who you want to be. Vulnerability breaks down walls of shame and fear, allowing connection and growth to flourish. When you celebrate your journey, you soften the harsh inner critic that demands perfection and instead nurture a compassionate voice that encourages persistence and patience. This mindset transforms how you experience hardship. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you begin to view them as essential parts of growth. Each challenge becomes a lesson, a stepping stone, rather than a dead end. This shift reduces stress and frustration because you stop fighting against the natural flow of progress. You stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You start valuing your unique path and pace. Happiness thrives in environments where effort is acknowledged, not ignored. When you recognize your progress, you affirm your worth and build confidence. This confidence makes pushing through hard times easier because you know you have overcome before and can do so again. It gives you proof that growth is possible and that your happiness is within reach. You stop waiting for permission to feel joy and begin to claim it as your birthright. Letting go of perfection is also a radical act of freedom. It frees you from the constant pressure to be enough in someone else's eyes and allows you to be enough for yourself. It invites you to live fully in the present, appreciating the messy, beautiful process of becoming. This acceptance opens space for happiness to grow naturally because you are no longer trapped in a cycle of judgment and resistance. When you commit to celebrating progress, you build a sustainable foundation for happiness. This foundation supports you through the hardest times and carries you toward transformation. It pushes you to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep choosing joy no matter what. Happiness is found in the journey of becoming, not in the illusion of perfection. Choose to honor your progress, and you will discover a wellspring of joy that lasts beyond any hardship. The choice to push yourself toward happiness every day is the most profound commitment you can make. It is not a one-time decision, but a continuous, deliberate act of courage and self-love. Life will test you in countless ways, but each day you choose to keep going, you strengthen your resolve and reshape your future. This commitment becomes the anchor that holds you steady when storms rage and the compass that guides you through uncertainty. It is the declaration that you will not be defined by hardship,